Hey, Fort Smith, welcome to Give Me 5 minutes with Fort Smith City Director Neil Martin, where we're going to look at events that happened last week and look ahead to what's going on this week. So let's go ahead and jump in. Last Tuesday, October 22nd, was a voting meeting. We voted on a number of items. I always encourage you to go to fortsmithar.gov/watch. There you can see a summary of how everyone voted, but you can also watch the meeting or specific agenda items to see the discussion around those agenda items. I'm not going to talk about everything. I'll just talk about where we differed. For most items, we were 6-0. There was one director that was out, but we were 6-0 on most items with the exception of two. One of those was a resolution regarding discussion of water and wastewater utility issues being conducted at least one board of directors study session, primarily on the second Tuesday of each month. Staff made a recommendation to table that. A recommendation was put forward to table that. I didn't feel like tabling it. I feel like we need to move forward regardless of any other discussion. And we've got discussion this Tuesday regarding water rates. I felt like we needed to go ahead and set in stone that we're going to have discussions about water and wastewater, at least a study session devoted to it every month. That got what I wanted was defeated. It was 4 in favor to table, 2 against. George Katsavis and I were voting to table it, so we disagreed there. The other item that we disagreed was all the way down in our consent agenda, and it was relating to acquisition of water line easements in connection with the water transmission line, the 48-inch water transmission line that's coming down from Lake Fort Smith and will be feeding water to the city of Fort Smith. The cost associated with trying to procure those easements was around $39,000, but Director Christina Katsavis voted against it. So it was 5 in favor, 1 against. So those were the items that we had some disagreement. This week, we have a study session, and this is going to be an important study session. We're going to hear an update from OVG Group. They are the group that runs our convention center. They're going to be giving us an update on activities at the convention center. We'll also be looking at our capital improvement plans for solid waste, police, water, sewer, consent decree, and non-consent decree. So there's been a lot of discussion, especially over the last few months, about water and about sewer, primarily around the consent decree. But we're going to see those capital improvement plans, the plans that the department heads have put together, over the next 5 and 10 years. So I encourage you to either be down at the Blue Lion, 101 North 2nd Street in downtown Fort Smith, or watch online at fortsmithar.gov/watch. We will also be discussing water rates. There's been a lot of feedback that the board has received about water rates for POAs, irrigation rates in general, and we're going to talk about those. We're going to get some information from a consultant that we've hired and also from city administration. There's just a lot to discuss around commercial rates and irrigation rates. So we'll be talking about those. Also on our agenda is an item to discuss the recent odor issues related to Denali Water Solutions. They're a company that operates in Crawford County. And everybody's noticed over the last probably 2 weeks, there's been a pretty noxious smell in the city of Fort Smith. And Denali Water Solutions is involved in some of the processing of waste material in a lagoon in Crawford County. So I had asked that Denali come speak to the board. Well, Denali has declined speaking to the board because of an ongoing legal matter that was brought to the city or brought to Denali very recently. So they have declined to come to the board and talk. I believe we'll still have some discussion because some information has come to me and maybe other board members about maybe the source of the smell. So I still want to talk about it, but just to let you know, Denali will not be there. And then we'll also be looking at our preliminary agenda for our next voting meeting, which will be on November 4th. So I encourage you to come down to the Blue Lion this Tuesday to be a part of those discussions. There's no citizens forum, but you at least will be able to hear from the board of directors and be able to see and hear the discussions that happen around those items on our study session. That's all that I've got today for Give Me Five. I hope the information was informative, made you better aware of the items that are in front of your board of directors. Everyone have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday on Give Me Five.